Hi, welcome to the fourth discussion. So, the first thing, reconstructing Pascal's argument, the wager. Pascal argued, even if the existence of God is unlikely, it is better to believe in God than not to believe. So, he's using a little bit of probability here. He's saying that if you believe in God and you die, and there is a God, you'll go to heaven. But if there isn't a God, you just die. But if you don't believe in God and there is a God, then you could possibly go to hell. So that's all hypothetical, but that's his argument. And he says, even if you don't believe in God, you should act religious so you can still go to heaven, or something to that effect. I just have a couple discrepancies. The first, belief in God doesn't guarantee heaven. So that's one thing I think a fundamental flaw. And then also acting religious without belief in God doesn't guarantee heaven either. It seems like both would be fundamental, but even then you can't really say because you'll only know once you die. So we're going to move on next to Woods, and his whole argument is based off of evidentialism. So Woods argues, without sufficient evidence, individuals should not morally hold certain beliefs. So first thing I thought of is human knowledge is kind of a collective thing. And then although it's better to have evidence, it's impossible to have evidence for all things. So I guess I'm taking a little bit for Lampert's discussion there, and I guess specifically from James. So collective, I guess this is partially due to the vast amount of knowledge that exists in the universe, and then also the biological design of our brain. So those two things together makes it almost impossible to have evidence for all things. So, and it's really not human nature to only believe what one has sufficient evidence to believe. Because we're social animals, and as children we rely on our parents to teach us these things. And I guess once your brain is fully developed, then maybe it's your responsibility to have evidence to justify something. And then also one more thing I thought of was humans have complex abilities to process information without being fully aware of it, especially with like athletes. In psychology, we refer to it as flow or the zone. So although one may have subconsciously found evidence for something, maybe like a gut feeling, you could say, it can be difficult to justify that evidence, and it's not always easy to explain it. So although Woods argues that religion lacks evidence for the existence of God, I believe that the design and complexity of life itself would be one of the strongest arguments for God. Now, whether or not that's evidence, I can't say. So one of the next things I'm going to talk about is it morally acceptable to believe religious claims as a matter of faith, and why? I think it is acceptable to believe religious claims as a matter of faith because it's individuals' fundamental right to have their own beliefs. I cannot argue that one's beliefs are morally acceptable because morals are a matter of opinion, so my morals may contradict those of others. And then lastly, argue whether people who hold religious beliefs without sufficient evidence should place any limits on the actions they take according to those beliefs, and why. So people who hold religious beliefs should place restrictions on their actions, but they shouldn't be forced to do so unless those actions involve breaking basic human rights, like murder, for instance. I believe there are basic human rights that should never be broken, no matter what one believes, whether it be religious or not. It's not a common opinion, but I believe murder can be avoided in almost all cases. This takes intense dedication, preparation, and precision, making it very difficult to achieve in an ethical way, but not impossible. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I know it was a lot of stuff covered really fast, but I look forward to talking to you guys next week, and I will see you then.